Hi guys, welcome to my first ever YouTube video after a lot of requests for some more basic looks in makeup, some easy to follow tutorials on how I create some of the looks. Now some of you that follow me on Instagram already know that I do some pretty crazy out there stuff, but within these videos I really want to focus on some things that you guys can achieve day to day and that will make you feel confident, and also hopefully do it with the products that you already have at home. Basically, I've done my foundation, I've done my concealer and my powders and any dimension, so we're just going to focus on the eyes and the eyebrow in this video. This will be a very easy day-to-day quick, just meeting your friends or just want a quick pick-me-up to make yourself feel more confident. Today I'm going to be using the NARS Skin Deep palette. It's one that I've chosen that has generally got most of the colours in there that you guys will have at home. Along with that, I'll probably be using a liner. Now I tend to go for brown liners. You can use a black, it's just a little bit more intense, so therefore you might want it for more of a going out, but we can go into that as we get there. Right, brushes. I'm going to not be using 1,000 brushes, and I will make sure I stay to that for you. So first things first, I'm going to be applying a base colour all over my eye. So it's quite obviously going to be this one. So in most palettes you're always going to have that base colour. So this brush here that I'm using is your normal sort of like flat fluffy brush. Although I've seen clients be using this for concealer, it does still work for that, but I use it for my all over base. Now just to give you an example so that you don't get too overwhelmed and worried about what brushes are right and you're thinking, oh my god, I don't have a brush that looks exactly like what Hannah's using. You can also use a brush like this. You see, there is a slight difference there. You could even use a brush like this, really. However, the reason why I've kind of chosen this one here would just spray the product everywhere, and your distribution of the product would be too weak. This guy here, I kind of want more surface area covered, so I could use it, it would just take me a bit longer. This one here, super soft, really nice for packing on. That's why I'm using this one. So I'm going to pick up the product like so, and you can see I've got a fair amount on my brush. Now by closing my eye, one eye, well obviously, I'm just going to start by packing it in, and you can see there I'm not doing this motion, I'm not fluffing it, painting it on, I'm packing the pigment on. Now, there's a few reasons why I do this. The first reason is it's just like setting your foundation or setting your makeup. So it will put, when you run your finger over that, your finger doesn't grip or grab or pull, which means that the next colours that we put on also aren't going to grip and grab and pull, and you're going to get a really nice even base. The other reason for that is it just gives you a really uniform, even colour. Now, some of you might be used to using primers on your eyes beforehand. Now, I will sometimes use primers on my eyes, but I generally don't need to, and I think the reason for that is that when I'm doing my foundation and my concealer, I tend to, whatever's left on my fingers, take it up there, and then when I'm setting my foundation with a powder, I tend to sweep it over. So essentially I've kind of primed my eye already. But if you are using a primer, just do it before this step here, just pat a little bit on. I will cover things like this in other videos. So perfect. So you can see that I'm really not actually giving two hoots about how much I'm putting on. Now notice now I do kind of like buff it away, because you don't want a really powdery eye, so I just buff it off. Now in the difference between them, you can kind of see that this one just looks a lot cleaner and softer and smoother. This one looks fine, but it's not as clean. The eye doesn't look as polished, and you might find that your eyeshadows kind of like grab in places and don't look as blended and as professional as you had hoped. I will still define this top lash line, but I don't want it to look like it's got a liner on it. So, and that's great for you guys because I'm not going to go into how to do this structured wing or anything like that. I don't know whether some of you, hopefully you work at a desk. I like to work at a desk because I can put my elbows and there's no worry of me having this arm flailing around when I need to get a precise line and things like that. So that's why I will do it. Now, like I've already said, we're going to enhance the lash line, but without it looking overdone, over made up. So the best way for you to do this would be to kind of look down into a mirror. Now, on myself, I will generally flip this part of the eye up, very attractive, flip this part of the eye up, and just like you line the bottom of your eye, I do that up at the top. I understand that that is going to make a lot of you kind of like jump and not be able to do it, so I'm going to show you the easier way. So you're going to aim for the roots of the eyelashes. So pretend that the lashes are not there and you want to kind of draw in, and I mean right at the roots of the eyelash, so not above. Remember, we're not making a line which is visible. Now, I am taking it right to the edge of where my top eye meets my bottom eye. So just so you know where to go. Now, this doesn't need to be neat, and that will make sense on the next stage. So just go in there. Now, for the girls with quite straight lashes, you'll be able to whack this in no time. Now, in this inner corner, you want to be really, really careful that you're not holding the pen like that. One, your nose is going to get in the way and it's not going to be accurate. So you want to lay the pencil kind of on its side, open your eyes wider so that that line will come up, and kind of lay it down on the eyelashes and pull it to the side. Now, if I come up close to the camera, you can see that I've got a liner on compared to the other eye, but it's not heavy or thick or in your face. This kind of brush here are my absolute faves. I don't know whether you can actually see that. So really, really beautiful for lots of things in makeup actually. Or you've got these guys here, which are slightly more softer and fluffier. I'm going to go with my flat liner because I'm very much used to using this. So with our flat liner, going to exactly the same place, we're going to pretend just like you did with the liner, but this time we're going to kind of like pull it to one side, pull it to the other side. So we're kind of gently blending. Now this is, the reason for this is so that you can't really see the join of where the makeup has been put. Now, if you find that the liner isn't blending as good as you would want it to, best trick for that is to use your finger. So, because your hands are generally quite warm, by doing that over the top, you'll just emulsify it slightly and it will give you a better blend. You don't want to blend it anywhere in particular, so don't worry about how far up is she taking it. All I'm doing is softening that product. Quickly going to do the other eye. So into the roots of the lashes. Now, first few times with this, you are going to poke yourself in the eye and it's going to make you jump, but carry on. Just don't worry too much. Just, you'll get the knack of aiming. Just always think to yourself, I'm aiming for the roots of my eyelashes. I'm not drawing a liner. That's for another video. And then with this part, you can actually see how brisk I am kind of like with it. Sometimes I'm using the corner of it rather than it flat on because I really want it to kind of give me a framework so I can see where it is. Sometimes as well, when I'm doing my own makeup, I don't really know where I'm going to go with it. So just by making that lash line thick and fluffy, I just kind of then go, oh, I know what mood I'm in. I'm going to start putting on some shadow. So brushes that I tend to use for this is this guy that you remember from the beginning, and this guy. So these two brushes, we have it. Now this one here is going to be the director. It's going to be the one that is going to direct where all the colour go. This one here is going to be the one that softens everything and keeps everything in check. So I always have these two in my hand. So like I said, when we're looking back at the palette, I tend to go for these warmer colours here. Now we're looking at our eyes. We've got the mobile lid, which is this bit here, this main part, this bit that folds back, and then we've got our crease. So I'm going to show you a great way of defining the eye, whether it's hooded or not. So once again, do not be scared of picking up colour on the brush. So I'm going to go in for this one here, which is actually called Sophia. You can buy this as a single. It's always been my go-to. Now when I'm taking the product on my brush, I'm putting it in and I'm turning the brush around. Always I tap off. We are going to, so I'm going to, you can do it from far away, so you want to look at yourself with a neutral face, so how you would be 80% of the time. You want to kind of bring your brush closer, and then I want a darker sort of like shadow at the edge of my eye. So where we've taken that line or two at the end of the eye, we want to keep our eyes on there, tilt our head back, close the eye that we're working on, and stamp the brush in, right? Like so. So you're kind of left with this great look, unblended shadow. But that's the easiest way I can say for putting the colour on, at least. Now we're going to get our fluffy guy, and we're kind of going to go aim for the part which is at the top. And we're going to very, very gently, without the brush coming too far away, just blend it in. Now, I'm working from that side in, and you can already see that the colour is now gone. So then we're going to add more on. So each time I add colour on, I basically blend it away. So edge of the top part of the colour, and we want to edge it away. Now every time you do this, the colour is going to build up and it's going to become a little bit higher each time, so then we're going to start seeing the shape develop. So right now I can see that actually I need to come a little bit further out here. So you don't want to aim, when you're doing this stamping bit, you don't want to aim too high up, because when we blend, the colour is going to go that way anyway. So if we aim too high up, by the time we've blended it will be too high up and we will look like the baddie in a Disney movie rather than daytime pretty. So let's fill in that gap. Now I'm stamping it really quite close, and now very gently move it away. Now just then you saw me change my motion, so I hate fallout on my face. I can't even look at it. So you saw that compared to this motion that I was doing at the beginning, just then I flipped to that. Now I would say when you are more confident, you'll have no fear to do that, but basically the circles is what's going to move the colour around. So if you want the colour to really move out and blend out, you would fluff it out like that. You know what I mean? And you can go quite confidently with it. Now remember what I said about go lighter than what you expect and then you can go darker. Well, now I'm going to be doing that. So now I'm going to go for the colour next to it, which is a slight richer tone, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Stamp it on like so and just move it around like so. Now notice that I don't come too far over this side, because what you'll end up doing is creating eyes which are too close together. My eyes are quite close together, so I need to be careful of not to do that. So you can see what I've done there. I've just gone back in again, picked it back up, and just blending. So you can see now, two of the eyes, it's all starting to come together. Right, so back to our first colour. Now I'm using the same brush. It doesn't matter that we went in between colours, it really doesn't. Just let go of that, because a lot of the time I see women like with 1,000 brushes. Just let it go. I generally will have a piece of tissue to one side, or a towel, or a dressing gown or something, and I just rub the colours off. So first colour again, and we're going to stamp it in. Remember, don't go too high, because when we blend it will go there anyway. Fluffy brush, and we're just going to blend that colour off, and this first one literally blends till it's non-existent. Gonna go again. This time we get a bit braver. Since lockdown I've worn makeup probably 3 times, and every time I do it I get scared that I've forgotten how to do it. So quick check if it's balanced. What I want you to get used to is not worrying about putting the colour on. Force it to do what you want it to do. Right, so then I'm going to use that other colour just to deepen up slightly. Every time I blend, I don't care if you blend it all the way and you have to do the process like 10 times, it doesn't matter. Blending is key. Right, so I've got enough of that shadow on. Now what you can do is you can leave it like that and that's enough, and mascara, depends, up to you. But I'm going to kind of like take it a little bit up just so I can show you how you can do it. So me personally, I've always loved an under smoke, I call it. So I'm not going to go full on under smoke how I normally go. Normally I would use the liner and then tug the liner out slightly. I'm just going to use the powder. So using this first brush that we're stamping it on, I'm going to use what's left of the colour on my brush. And I'm going to, so what I'm doing here is I'm, rather than going that way, which we did for the beginning, we're going to go that way, so we're looking up at ourselves in the mirror. And all I'm going to do is back and forth, you can see that there, on the lower lash line. Back and forth. Now, I only ever take it in as far as where my iris is, the coloured part of your eye. Now, using my middle finger, I blend it like that. So I'm going to go for this kind of rosy, because it never lets me down. Using my ring finger this time, because it's kind of like small enough and strong enough, I am literally just going to stroke it on there. Now I normally wiggle, because then you can see where the light's hitting. Now the great thing about using your fingers is they just blend for you, but using your fingers you can kind of like see where you want to go, and it does soften, merge the colours. So if you've got a shimmer sort of like colour, it will make the area look bigger. So that's why I tend to go for shimmers on my eyes, because it makes the skin look slightly more plumped out. So that, once again, you can get away with that on, just put some mascara on and go. But I do love intense eyes. So remember this guy, the flat liner at the beginning. Now, don't have to use this one necessarily, you could use this one. I want a tiny bit more control. So I am going to now go with this dark one here, Coconut Grove, right on the edge of my brush, and I'm going to go back over where we did our liner and kind of tap it in. Now I'm kind of like rubbing my eyelashes as well, because I don't want it to look disconnected from my eye and then have like a white gap. The messiest YouTuber out there. Now take this guy, which we were working with to put our corner colours on, so just buff over edges so it's all connected. Right, so I'm ready for mascara, so I'm going to whack that on and then we'll go over to brows. So I tend to go like crazy with mascara, so I will, this is my favourite Better Than Sex Too Faced because the brush is really like thick and like voluptuous. It's amazing. The formula is amazing as well. Then I like this guy here, which is NARS Climax, and the reason, sorry if you can hear that plane going over, the reason why I like this is because the brush, the comb kind of like separates all your lashes. Now I put it right in the roots and I'm not moving my brush, I'm bouncing, and then I kind of blink off. Now the reason for that is because this first one that I'm doing, I'm kind of manipulating the eyelashes to stay up. So if you have eyelashes which constantly are laying flat, or they're straight, a good trick for you is to put the mascara wand as close to the base of the lashes as possible, wiggle it side to side, like pulse it, and then on the other side the same. I hope you can actually see what I'm doing. Yeah, you can. Wiggling it in and really force them. Like when I'm working on a client's lashes, I go from the inside out, everything. Now, if your brush hits the bottom or anything like that, which mine often will, because I'm quite a skew-if artist, let it do it, don't panic. Let the product completely dry, and then if you grab a Q-tip, you can just literally just plick it off. Especially if you drop it and it goes down your nose. I've done it before where I dropped the whole brush and it all went down my cheek. Just let it dry. Just don't panic. Don't let it fill the fear. Right, so I've done the Climax, which is the brush which I use. Like even when that runs out, I'll still be using the brush. And then I want it to be nice and thick and voluptuous. So I go in with Better Than Sex. And this time you can see that I'm kind of brushing them through because I've got that initial base in. Now bottom lashes, I do like to do the bottom lashes, but I think a lot of women can go wrong with the brush and stuff. So remember that first brush that we were using, I will tend to pick up a bit of mascara on the end of that, and I will very, very lightly, stab myself in the eye, I tickle them, I don't comb them. So just very, very lightly, I'm skimming over the top. Okay, so brows. I have got so many different things that I use for brows. What have I been using at the moment is MAC, and this is the Shape and Shade Brow Tint. So this is more of a pen. And then at the end, which my friend actually showed me, I didn't even realise it's got like a powder thing with it, but I don't really use it. But I like this because I can kind of get in and do hair strokes in there. Then I used to use kind of like pencils and things like that. Now, the eyebrow pencils nowadays, like this is a NARS one, this is an old discontinued one, but I really used to like them. This one will kind of like grab on the hairs without going too heavy, so it's not waxy like when I was younger. And then the other thing that I've been using as well is eyeshadow. Yeah, is eyeshadow. So I'm actually going to start with the MAC brow. So when working with eyebrows, it's really important that you've got a spoolie or a disposable eye mascara wand or something like that. Because the first thing you want to do is kind of brush your eyebrows up. Mine don't really brush up, they never have. So just so long as you've got them nice and groomed and we know where we're going, then that's good. But back in the day, we would always start here on the eyebrow, and I do still see people doing that. But I'm going to teach you a way of starting here and then working our way back in. So I'm going to use the MAC product because I'm used to using that. So starting here in the arch, I am going to gently, you might have just picked up the one that is too dark for me. Brilliant move, Hannah. So very gently, I've put a darker, you can see it there. Now using my spoolie, I'm going to comb that through. A bit like when we're doing the eyes, we want to kind of like make sure that we're always blending. So working my way out now to the tail, and then brush through. So you can see the difference. Now, instead of me drawing on this part here at the top, I'm going to work my way in from the bottom here. Now, I'm changing to do hair strokes as opposed to a line, and I'm stroking the pen the way that the hair grows. The reason why it's important to change to that brush stroke is because then the product isn't as easily seen, and it doesn't look like, oh look at me, I've drawn on my eyebrow. Right, perfect. Oh look, we've got an eyebrow. Now I'm going to because the first part, shouldn't really try and talk and do my eyebrows. The first part was me just getting in colour. So now I'm just going to strengthen that beginning part here, very gently, like so, and brush through again. Good. That's as far as I want to go. So now you can see what I've done. It's basically my eyebrow, but it's like I've tinted it. My pen stroke is really, really light when I'm doing this. Hope that's in focus. So arch, down into the tail. Yeah, that looks good to me. Now, in terms of what to do next, I see a lot of girls just do that part of their eyebrow and they're done. For me, a gel is the must. It's the finishing thing. So a few gels that I like. There was one from NARS, but they've discontinued it. Anastasia Beverly Hills. This one my friend actually gave me, which is a L'Oreal one. I like it. Kind of plumps up your eyebrows at the same time. It's got a little diddy brush. Something that I love using is the soap brows. Can you see that? Yes. Soap brows is great. It comes with a little spoolie and you use like a spray with it. Kind of like mushes spoolie in there. And the good thing about this is it's very waxy. So it kind of, once those brows are there, it's there. I'm going to just use normal. I'm going to use Anastasia, why not? Now, don't be scared again. You want to push this into the roots and really tousle them up. Now I think it's because I don't have very bushy brows, I do like to have my hairs up. Now when you brush them up, don't think that they're going to stay like that. Just like the eyelashes, they'll fall back down. So I prefer to just leave mine up like a crazy professor and then just let them kind of relax after. But don't be afraid of putting gel. The gel needs to really coat the eyebrow, not just twiggle on the ends. Oh, they are crazy now. I like it. But yeah, that just gives them texture and just helps them to look more real, as opposed to drawn on severe sharp eyebrows. Right, so we've covered the eyes on a basic level. We've covered the eyebrows, which I think was really important. From this point forward, I'm going to be doing some more things, sort of like maybe go a bit further into eyebrows and things like that. For my first video, let's see how this goes, and then hopefully we can get some more going. So if there are any in particular that you really, really want, that you think would be really helpful for you, it is one of my most favourite things, teaching makeup. So please just leave me a comment or send me a message, and I will find the best way to kind of like break it down into normal language and get it out to you girls. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Share so that we can kind of like get a little community going. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow you all wake up going, I've got that product that she was talking about, and you don't need to go out and buy any new ones, because there's nothing I despise than having pointless makeup. But yeah, I will speak to you soon. I hope you've enjoyed it. Enjoy being pretty in lockdown. Speak to you soon. Bye.